Will Carmelo Anthony have a fair trial? Let's talk about it. Carmelo Anthony's trial just started, but before it could even get started, the prosecution had already set it up for a guilty verdict. The one thing that's most important when it comes to a jury trial is to have a selection of jurors of your peers. And this is exactly what this prosecution did not do. And it was one mistake that he will possibly regret. Take a look at this clip on this attorney explaining that was a huge mistake.
And some controversy about that, as well as there being no black jury members on this trial. So can you explain to me the controversy behind that and how important jury selection is to a case? Can it really define its outcome here?
Yeah, jury selection is everything. If you can get the right jurors for your, who are hopefully going to see the case your way as a prosecutor, you're golden. But don't forget, you need 12 people on that jury who are going to find that you met your burden of proof. As the defense, I only need one person to say, hold on a second, this was a self-defense case, and my client potentially gets an acquittal. So there's the dichotomy in the jury selection. Now, the jury is supposed to reflect the community. It's supposed to be a jury of the defendant's peers. And I think from the defense perspective, they potentially have a get out of jail free card here. And as a prosecutor, as a former prosecutor, I cannot believe the prosecution actually made this mistake to exclude all of the African-American jurors, knowing you had an African-American defendant, knowing that you had a bunch of people outside the courthouse who feel that they're not, that their community, the African-American community, is not going to get a fair trial, I think is a big mistake. You got to remember, as a prosecutor, you're not there just to convict. Your job is to make sure that the defendant gets a fair trial. And I honestly think if there's a conviction here, I think the appellate court is going to take a very hard look at this and potentially reverse this. This is a serious mistake by the prosecution. And jury selection is one of the ways that an appellate court will reverse a conviction.
This type of illegal action happens all the time in cases where Black people are on trial. And unfortunately, not a lot of people know that you can contest that during your appeal process. But who wants to be found guilty, have to go off to prison, have to go through an appeal process that can take months? But I too just went through that with a personal case of the same situation and have to go through an appeal. But that's okay, because in the end, justice will be served. And here's another clip where the attorney explains further on how this prosecutor should have known better.
You took the next question right from me. If we could see an appeal from this because maybe he doesn't feel that he is represented by his peers.
Yeah, I mean, how can he? I mean, he's an African-American young man in an African-American community, and he has no African-American jurors to decide his fate. How can that possibly be fair? Now, to the prosecution's point, I'm sure when the judge said, why are you striking this person? I think what they said was, we don't want any teachers on the panel, right? And when you do that once, okay, sounds okay. When you do it twice, maybe. But you start doing it 3 times and 4 times, you're like, hold on a second, there's a pattern here. And it's the pattern of striking those African-American jurors that I think is going to come back and bite the prosecution, in the proverbial backside. I really do. And I think the appellate court's going to find a problem with this.
How many cases are out there that had a situation like this and was found guilty and never thought to raise this in appeal? I suggest everyone that has been through a court case and know that they did not receive justice, take a look at your jury selection, because these are the games that prosecutors play. Drop down in the comments how you feel about Carmelo Anthony's trial being started with no jurors of his peers. Don't forget to like, share, and follow me for more controversial topics.